Hermanos de Telehit, nos encontramos en un momento de lujo, un gran artista que tiene nuevo material discográfico. Tenemos la oportunidad de platicar. Para mí es un placer platicar con Moby. First of all, it's an honor. Thank you very much for your time in this interview.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too. Now, talking about this album, Wait For Me, tell us a little bit the biggest challenge about doing this album. I know that you did it in a studio in your house, but tell us the biggest challenge.
The biggest challenge in making this album and making Wait For Me was to try and make something that I really loved. Because sometimes when people make music, they're thinking to themselves, well, how can this get on the radio? Or how can this sell a lot? Or how will this sound live? And for me, in making this album, the only question I was asking myself was, do I love this? You know, how does this music affect me emotionally? And how will it affect other people emotionally? You know, so I wasn't thinking about radio, I wasn't thinking about sales, just purely thinking about the emotional quality of the music.
And now, what's the most important thing, or what is the thing that you did in Last Night that you say, okay, I don't want to repeat that?
Well, the album Last Night was inspired by nightlife in New York, and Last Night and Wait For Me are just very, very different albums. So I almost can't compare them. You know, because Last Night is a very public record. You know, Last Night's the sort of album you put on if you're having a party on a Friday night. And this album, Wait For Me, it's not a party record. It's not a dance record. It's the sort of record you listen to on a Sunday morning when it's raining outside.
Totally agree. A great album. I like both sides of you. I even like a lot your punk side with animal rights and all at that time. And talking also, I know that you work with a great director, David Lynch, that I really admire. You work with, or you both work together with Shut Up in the Back of the Head, right? Tell us the experience working together.
Well, I mean, David Lynch is one of my favorite filmmakers, and I love his approach to creativity because he's so strange, but he's also had so much success. And I think that's really, really interesting. And he's made, I mean, you look at Blue Velvet and Lost Highway and Inland Empire. I mean, these are very dark, very strange movies, and somehow everyone's seen them. And so we've worked on a lot of things. I DJ'd at his wedding. He made the video for me. I let him use some music for this charity that he's working on. We've done a lot of things together, and it's interesting because his movies are very dark, but as a person, he's so friendly. Like he's just very nice and very friendly. So.
But do you understand Mulholland Drive or Lost Highway? I don't.
Lost Highway, I've seen. Well, Lost Highway, yes, Lost Highway, and I actually guessed what it was about. It's about O.J. Simpson. Oh, it's very much about like, it's about. I mean, all of his movies. If you notice, like I saw the movie Inland Empire 3 times. His movies have recurring themes, which is like an evil man who eventually gets killed at the end. You know, so there was Frank in Blue Velvet, there was Bob in Twin Peaks, in Lost Highway, I can't remember his name, I guess Robert Blake's character. I mean, so there's these recurring themes of evil and good and just how complicated they are.
Awesome. Now, talking about the story of your life in music, you start so many years ago with the Vatican Commandos. What could be the best thing that you use it about that work that you use it in your solo career?
I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the most important thing that you keep from that adventure and you use it when you started doing solo.
I guess the most important thing I learned, because when I was very young, I played in a hardcore punk band called the Vatican Commandos, and then when I made my first ever single under my name, it was 1990. 91, and it sold 2,000 copies. So the most important thing I learned is anything that sells, and the Vatican Commandos, our first 7-inch sold 500 copies. So for me, anything that sells more than 500 copies is a success. Okay. And so that way, so like I put out the album Animal Rights, and it didn't sell very well. It sold like 150,000 copies. But to me, that's 150,000 people who bought that record, and that's amazing, considering I thought a successful 7-inch was 500 copies. So
that's absolutely true.
It's basically, for me, success, like if I play a concert and 20 people come, that's success. So anything more than that is big success. So,
well, one of your albums that is like big success was Play, obviously. In the last 10 years, it's one of the most that have sold like more copies. What do you think that was the key to make that connection with the crew?
I have no idea. I mean, I was talking to someone earlier about this. Yeah. Every part of my career is an accident. You know, like I have no plan. I have no idea what I'm doing. I know how to make music. That's about it. But when I've tried to have success, it hasn't worked out. And when I've, like an album like Play, it was not supposed to be successful. I recorded it in my bedroom on bad equipment. And somehow it became a successful record. To be honest with you, I don't know why, except maybe, I think one of the only reasons it might have been successful is because it didn't sound like every other record at that time. You know, because at the time, like, you had the Backstreet Boys and Limp Bizkit, and it was a time for really big pop records. And Play was just a strange little record that a weird guy made in his bedroom.
Now, do you have plans? I know that 2 years ago you did a project called The Little Death. Do you have plans to do another thing with them?
Yeah, well, The Little Death are some friends of mine, and it just started out as an excuse to get together and drink beer. So we would meet up and we would play John Lee Hooker and Led Zeppelin songs and drink beer. And so it's a fun hobby, and I do it every now and then. I mean, I love playing music with other people, so I'd love to have different bands. But right now I'm on tour, so I don't really have time to do anything else.
Now, the last question, the story about this little character that we see on your albums, on your T-book also is there. Tell us a little bit. You draw it?
Yeah. Well, I come from a long line of artists. My mother was a painter. My uncle's a sculptor. My other uncle's a photographer. I have a grandmother who was a watercolorist. So I became a musician because I didn't want to compete with them. And then I started working in a record store a long time ago, and every bag that left the store had to have a drawing on it. So I started drawing this little guy, and then when people wanted autographs, I started drawing the little guy, and people liked it, so I just keep drawing it. I mean, he never really changes, and
but it's cool.
It's
a cool character.
But it's also, as art, it's supposed to be as simple and unintimidating as possible, because I'm a little tired of art and culture that's cool and intimidating. Do you know what I mean? Like
aggressive, like.
Or like you get a cool graphic design magazine and you feel like there are all these cool people making it. Or you listen to a cool indie record or a hip hop record and you feel like they're all really cool. I'm not cool. And I don't want to.
You are in your own way.
I guess maybe accidentally, but so the idea behind the art and the music is like, there's nothing intimidating about it. It's not cool, it's not intimidating, it's just hopefully nice music and nice drawings.
Well, awesome, Richard, it's an honor to talk with you. Thank you very much. Ya lo vieron, grande entre los grandes, Moby. Consigan el material discográfico de Wait For Me, la neta está increíble. Y bueno, hermanos, pues esto ya se acabó. Esto fue Soundcheck. Hay que les sea leve. Chao.